Hello, thank you for joining me for this business proposal for my food truck idea that I have. This is for my course, Introduction to Business, but it's a really great idea and a great opportunity for any potential investors. In addition to having this presentation, please feel free to check out the full written business plan for more details on this project. So first of all, I wanted to introduce the idea of food trucks. I'm sure that many people are already familiar with food trucks, as they are something that are very common to be seeing around many places in the U.S., but especially here in Denver. They're increasingly popular, and there are many people who enjoy going to food trucks to get whether it's a treat or a meal. They like to do that while they're at events or out on the town. This business plan proposes to have a new food truck in Denver, Colorado, and it will show how this business can succeed. So first and foremost, this food truck is going to be called Home Where You Roam. I got that name because the mission that Home Where You Roam will have, the mission statement, is to provide customers with quality, comfort food that they can enjoy no matter where they are at. So basically, it's going to be a food truck that will be serving kind of comfort food staples that people enjoy. It's something that might bring up nostalgic memories of things that they enjoyed eating from their childhood or at specific points in their life. And this food truck is going to be using a rotating menu of items that will kind of play into these sorts of foods from a variety of cuisines and regions around the world. And of course, the first part that any business needs is just the nuts and bolts of getting started. So in this particular case, the first step that needs to be done is to procure a food truck. There are many ways to find them. You can find food trucks or even vehicles that can be converted into food trucks many different places online. You can get them either from auto dealers or from places even like online marketplaces. You can find them even on things like Facebook Marketplace. So the first thing to do is to find a truck that is suitable for the cause and make sure that it has all the equipment that it needs in order to operate. That includes the grill and stove. That includes the fire control systems. That includes storage, cold storage for ingredients and supplies. It needs to make sure that the vehicle is also able to function. It needs to be able to move. It needs to be able to safely operate and have all the necessary features that a working automobile would have as well, so that it's legal to run on the roads. So that will be the first hurdle. The second hurdle, which can be done at the same time, is also to be obtaining the licenses required. Food trucks being a food-based business, one, you need a potential permit and license just to operate the vehicle itself as a business. There are food truck permitting programs within the city, and you also have to make sure that you are up to code with things like health codes and making sure that you have your truck equipped in such a way that cleaning materials are up to par and that your workstations are able to be cleaned and worked efficiently without creating a danger to the public. So in this time, it will be the time to also apply for those things and have the city inspect the fire systems, inspect the workspace, make sure it's safe for food, and to get a permit to actually operate the truck as a business in public. Finally, staff will also have to be hired and trained. This is a big important thing because the staff will be actually running the truck itself. The staff will consist of a number of people, myself, the owner. I will have a truck manager who will be the person who operates the truck day to day. And with that truck manager, there will be 2 cashiers that will give us the ability to cover the business of the truck, with staff any point we might need it, whether that's during weekdays or weekends, events in the nights or morning or whatever it might be. We'll also need a managing chef, and this chef will be responsible for working with me to create a menu that is something that we think people will desire and provide good quality food for an affordable price. And then also preparing the food. So the chef will have to help manage keeping food clean and keeping it secure so that we can prep it and process it so that we have less to do in the actual truck itself. And that chef will work with 2 cooks and a food prep assistant. So the food prep assistant will be the one who helps prepare the foods, chops things up, maybe does any pre-cooking if that can be done, and does, the kind of preparing of the actual ingredients to be used. And then the 2 cooks, again, will be able to either work together with overlap or work at different times depending on the scheduling of the truck. All of these staff will have to be hired, of course, and will have to be trained. Many of them should have experience in the food industry, but we'll have to make sure that they are safe serve certified and make sure that they understand the importance of keeping our ingredients clean and safe, because that can be a big challenge in a food truck. Also, we will have to teach them how to use the equipment safely, quickly, and efficiently. So what will we serve? The things that we want to serve on our menu, again, will be these sort of comfort foods that people really know, and they can come from all around the world. It's a menu that we would be able to adapt and change over time to shake it up and give people new options and new opportunities if they see us at different events or different public places. The dishes I have in mind, just kind of off the top of my head, have been dan dan noodles, chicken tikka masala, grilled cheese, chilaquiles, and many more things. Just things in that kind of realm, that things are people can remember that maybe their mom or their grandma made for them, or maybe it's something that they got from a street food vendor somewhere that just really hit the spot while they were out and about. We want to recreate that feeling. So not only are they getting a really great meal, but they're also remembering fond memories, and they're creating fond memories at the same time. Another nice thing about these foods is they are actually quite affordable. Many of these foods are kind of foods that were made by the more kind of common people. And so they're not using extravagant, fancy ingredients. They typically use very common ingredients. They typically use ingredients that are easy to source and that are relatively affordable. Things like chicken thighs or the eggs that you can see, grilled cheese and bread, and you can even zhuzh it up with a little bit of spices or things like that. So just these things that are relatively simple, are affordable, and they will keep our prices at an attractive level for people while also giving them a product that they really want and desire. So of course, the team that I mentioned earlier is absolutely important. This operation cannot succeed without their help. The entire team, even though there's 2 managers kind of managing the 2 separate parts of the operation, they will have to work together, and I, as the owner, will have to be very involved with all aspects of the operation, because without people working together, a food truck, it has to be a high-paced, fast, and efficient operation. And if that falls apart, the business will not succeed because people will get frustrated and they will essentially want to avoid waiting in line or giving us their business because they do not view us as running an operation that is going to get them their food quickly or safely. So we will have to have all team members operating and working together to make sure that the business runs efficiently and effectively. And that can be from pitching in the cook if you need extra hand cooking, somebody taking over the cashier stand so that somebody can go deliver ingredients or grab ingredients, things like that. We'll have to work out a series of policies to have in place that staff know exactly how to handle things like that if they come up, or even emergencies. And this is to make sure that the food truck is just able to operate at the highest level, make sure that we're providing as many good food items to our customers as possible in a reasonable amount of time. Where is this going to be located? I mentioned earlier this is going to be in Denver, Colorado, and there's a few reasons for that. One, Denver, Colorado is my home. It's a place that I love, but it just happens to be a really great place to even start a food truck. Denver, Colorado, anybody who lives or knows the area here, they know that there are food trucks all over the place. You can see them on many streets. You can see them at any event or festival or public gathering. You'll see food trucks there. It's common to see them also at the various breweries or distilleries that we have around town. That's a common place for people to gather, and there are food trucks there. So the Denver public loves their food trucks, and they definitely support them. It's something that they think is a fun place to get a treat of some kind while they are out and about at events or with friends or doing whatever they happen to be doing. It also so happens that the Denver government is quite supportive of the food truck businesses as well. The Denver government has a fairly streamlined and easy process for applying for a permit for a food truck, and they have a number of resources on their website that you can use to give you the tools that you need to start up and make sure that your food truck is ready to go. There are, of course, some bigger hurdles that we mentioned earlier, things about getting, like the fire system certified. But other than that, Denver tries to make it as easy as possible for food truck businesses to start, and they want these food trucks in their community. Cost, of course, it costs money to start a food truck. There are, of course, the initial costs you can see here, buying the truck itself, estimating $125,000 for that to get that all set up. Permits and licenses, again, Denver keeps those fees nice and low because they want to encourage that business. So according to their website, it was about $325 to get that set up. And then contingency funds for anything that might pop up that might be creating kind of an extra expense as we're trying to start the food truck itself. We're looking at about $175,000, a little over, to get started. On top of that, we have our monthly expenses, having to pay for the commercial kitchen where we will be prepping all of our food, the parking permits for the truck to be parking at events or local locations, insurance, utilities, marketing for the truck, the food costs themselves, labor, of course, is a big one, and then being able to repay this loan. We're looking at total monthly expenses of $72,000. These things are quite large expenses, but this business can rise to the opportunity to cover these costs and make a profit. How are we going to do that? Well, here we have our menu breakdown of cost. We're thinking that there should be a good variety of things at the food truck, but since a lot of these simple dishes are comfort foods that people know and love, we think that there should be 3 main dishes of a similar cuisine type. There should be an appetizer to go with them, and then 2 dessert options. And this gives us an option if somebody just wants a snack, they can just get an appetizer. There's a really affordable main dish, something like a simple noodle dish for a lower price, a main dish that has, a little bit step up from there that's, a medium price, and then a third main dish option that would also have maybe a little bit more premium ingredients, maybe steak or something included. Then that would be a third price, that's the highest level. There are also 2 dessert options that we want to have because sometimes people are at these festivals and they may get their main course from one place, but they might want to try dessert with us, or they might not be looking for a meal. They might just want a treat. So we want to have these different items to cover anything that a person might be wanting to try. We forecasted out the quantity we can sell and prepare per hour and forecast the revenue per hour and found the revenue for an 8-hour day. With that, we found that it would take about 8,667 units to break even. That is a lot, but if the food truck is running efficiently and quickly and it's at a busy event, this should be able to be done with relative ease. Cash flow, based off of that forecast, the break-even point and the pricing, as well as taking into account the expenses that we looked at earlier, we forecast that Home Where You Roam can be profitable within a year. And if that operation continues in foreseeable years, this creates a great foundation that we can use to build an even larger, better business in the future as well. So there are next phases. In time, Home Where You Roam has a goal to expand its fleet by 1 or 2 more food trucks that can be operating as well. This allows us to operate at more events over a wider range of the Denver metro area or the Front Range, as well as offer catering capabilities, whether that's to corporate events, weddings, whatever else might be happening. We can provide that solution while also making sure we don't miss out on these big gatherings of people where we can get great customer exposure. In time, we would also want to buy a restaurant location as well. If we have built our name and our brand, people will be familiar. They'll love seeing an actual restaurant location. The best part about that is the restaurant location gives us one more way to get into people's minds. It gives them a place to go actually out to eat with a plan, and we would be able to save money at that point on a commercial kitchen. We could use the kitchen at the restaurant to prepare foods for the food trucks as well. So all of this can be done if the business just continues to grow and succeed over the course of a number of years. Now, finding customers, that's, of course, a tough part for any business, but Home Where You Roam can certainly do it just as well as any other food truck. Social media marketing is really a key tool that food trucks use. They can post them on Instagram or TikTok or wherever it might be, showing where they're going to be, what sort of food options they have. That can help build an audience that if it pops up on somebody's feed, maybe they come down and give us a try, especially if they know they're going to be in the area. So being able to expand that with social media, word of mouth, but then the food truck itself, it also will serve to advertise at events where it operates. It has a big sign on its side, and people will maybe want to just come over and try it and see what we have going on. So with those two things and with word of mouth, we can definitely spread, and people will get more and more familiar with the truck over time and know that it is one of the premier options at any event that a person's going to be at. So the business plan that we have shown, we've written down, shows how Home Where You Roam can start and build and ultimately thrive. This brief overview is I hope, helpful and encouraging and exciting for you to view, but please view the business plan itself for more details on each segment that we went over. The skills learned in my Introduction to Business course will only help Home Where You Roam succeed even more. Learning about the fundamentals of business, whether that's from the elements of financing an operation, to marketing an operation, to making sure you're sourcing your goods and making sure you have the best quality items. Those are all key elements for any business, and it's a key element for any small business owner to know. So using the tools learned in this class, I will be able to understand the importance of each factor and not just focus on just one thing. I won't just focus on the menu, which is where my passion for this initially starts. Instead, I'll have to be able to look at making sure that prices are good. Am I using seasonal items to save money and also provide what people want at certain times of the year? Am I able to make sure that I can spread the message with flyers or social media marketing? All of these aspects are very important, and it's something that I can take from this course to a business. And ultimately, we hope that you will join us in our success, and we appreciate you listening to this presentation, and we hope to have you to come try our food and possibly invest with our business, Home Where You Roam. Thank you so much.